go, UFC 293 over in Australia. So, the undeserved Sean Strickland is taking on Israel Adesanya, who is up there as one of the greatest, I believe, one of the greatest of all times. If you want to hear my prediction for the main event, please stay tuned till the end. Jamie Mullarkey fighting against the Canadian John Madejski. You've got to go with the Australians. You've got to back the Australians in these fights, I think, especially being in Australia. There is no way whatsoever, I think, that the Australians lose. So I'm going to go with Jamie Mullarkey to win there. And the same in the next fight as well, between Jack Jenkins and Shepe Marscal. Apologies if I misspelled it. If you've got a tash like that, you ain't losing. And then we've got New Zealand's own Carl Ulberg facing against Da Un Jung. I think I pronounced his name correctly. Once again, light heavyweight bout. I just can't see the Australians and the New Zealanders losing. I can't. So I'm going to go with the Carlos Ulberg win there. Now we're going to the main card. This is where it gets a little bit tasty. So obviously we've got, opening the card, Tyson Pedro opening against Anton Turkalj, which is going to be a great fight. I like Tyson Pedro. I like him. I like his the style of his fighting and stuff like that. I like him. But this is a good fucking bout. A really, really good bout. I'm going to go with the Tyson Pedro TKO second round. Second round TKO Tyson Pedro. Then we have the heavyweights. Justin Tafa against Austin Lane. Once again, you just cannot. I think it's going to be a clean sweep pretty much for the Southern Hemisphere. I think that's the right one. I think Justin Tafa will win that. I think it's going to be a KO. I think Tyson Pedro is going to open up the card with a KO, and I think it's just going to run. It's going to catch like wildfire. Tyson Pedro KO. Justin Tafa, I think it's going to be a KO. I think it's going to be a walk-off KO. Then we've got Manel Kape against Felipe dos Santos. Now, so this Manel Kape has been causing a bit of shit in the press conference, throwing a water bottle towards fucking Kai Kara-France, chatting shit to Izzy. Mate, the fucking Kai Kara-France makes him look stupid. Kai Kara-France fucking schools him. Honestly, Kai Kara-France is so good, and I'm gutted this fight is not happening because that is such a fucking fight. And I think he's Manel Kape. I don't know if it's Kape or Cap or Cape. Either way, he's going to win this fight. He's going to get the microphone and he's going to be a little fucking. He's going to kick off about Kai Kara-France. Kai Kara-France. And I think they'll make that fight for possibly end of the year, depending if there's any how this fight goes, if it goes to decision or if it goes a quick knockout. They might remake this fight towards end of the year, maybe New York or Vegas, and that's a great fight to put on because then you've got a potential then of putting Kai Kara-France on the UFC 300 in 7 months time. It would work well. Then we've got the co-main event, the heavyweights, Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. So obviously, Tai Tuivasa's last time out lost to Sergey Pavlovich, who is obviously the #1 contender right now. First round knockout. Then before that he lost to Cyril Gane, which was a great fucking back and forth fight. I think he tested Gane's chin really well, but then obviously the body shots from Gane were unreal. Before that, so last time Tuivasa won was February 2022. Do you know what I mean? He's beaten the like of Arlovski, Stefan Struve, Greg Hardy, Sakai, Derek Lewis. I'd love to see Tom Aspinall against Tai Tuivasa, but I don't think there's any point of that fight happening, especially with Tai now fighting against Volkov. I think the winner of that will probably fight Curtis Blades. I think you're going to be looking at either a Curtis Blades or Sergey Spivak, maybe. So obviously we've got Volkov, who's on a 2-fight win since the loss to Aspinall. In the last 5-6 fights, Volkov has lost twice to Aspinall and Cyril Gann. One in a first round submission and one on a points decision. I mean, he's beaten the likes of Rosenstruck, Tybura, Overeem, or Romanov, all in the last few fights. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I think for Tai to win, he needs to close that distance quick. I think he'll take quite a big punishment doing it. I don't know what Tai's ground game's like. We've not seen much of that. We've just seen him fucking stand and bang. But I think it's going to be... I don't want to go against the grain of, I think Australia are going to clean up. But I also don't know if Tai's going to win that one. And last but not least, let's go with a Volkov win decision. And last but not least, Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Now, I don't believe Sean Strickland should be in this fight. Do you know what I mean? I don't think his last fight was worthy of a title shot. He's lost to Cannonier, who's the backup for this fight. So I don't know. I'm a little bit meh about it. I don't think it's going to be too competitive, to be honest with you. I think Izzy's going to go in there and show what he's made of. And do you know what I mean? I think Duplessis will be potentially fighting Izzy on that 300 card, or maybe even earlier than that, to be honest with you, because you've got to think, you've got Izzy fighting against, you've got Izzy who has just ran through these fucking top 10. Izzy's ran through that division, middleweight division, so I don't know who can beat Izzy. Obviously we're talking about Pereira and everything, but Pereira's fucked off to light heavyweight now. But if you do look at the UFC middleweight division, you've got Izzy, Duplessis, Robert Whittaker, Jared, Martin Vittori, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa, Derek Brunson. I think this is how it's going to play out. If Izzy beats Sean Strickland Sunday morning, Saturday night, depending where you are in the world, Paulo Costa loses to Shimaev. Shimaev will then fight Izzy at UFC 300 on the undercard, on the co-main event for, do you know what, that card, you could have John Jones on it as a main event, you could have Izzy main event, you could have Volkanovski against Oliveira, you could have Oliveira against fucking Gaethje or Poirier, you could have Usman versus Covington. There's so many different fights you can make for that UFC 300. Sean O'Malley, another one you can fucking put on that card as a main event. But I think it's going to be Izzy beats Sean Strickland, Khamzat Chimaev beats Paulo Costa. Khamzat Chimaev will then jump into number 4 or 5 in the middleweight division rankings. He has two choices. He fights against Jared or Whittaker or even Duplessis, because I don't think Duplessis gets a title shot after turning it down. You know what the UFC like? The UFC is a entertainment, and Dana White loves people jumping in and saying, I'll fucking do it. Just like Sean Strickland's done. He's jumped in and goes, I'll fucking fight him. Cool, let's go. Sean Strickland has got a puncher's chance, if that. Okay, he has got a slight chance of a puncher's chance. I don't believe he'll win. I really, really don't. I think Izzy within 2. I just think Sean Strickland's going to be there chatting shit, fucking giving it the big one, and I think he's going to get caught. But going in towards end of the year, we have got UFC 294 next month, which is going to be Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, which I'm really looking forward for that fight. The month after is obviously John Jones versus Stipe. The month after that, from what I am hearing, I might be wrong, just potential hearings, Leon versus Kobe, December, and Sean O'Malley, and Jiri versus Pereira as well in December. I'm guessing that will then leave Sean O'Malley for the January card, or McGregor for the January card, 298. I think is it 298, 297. But then it leaves only 3. I can only see UFC 300 being a McGregor, John Jones, or Sean O'Malley headlining it. To be honest with you, I think it's got to be one of them 3, because they're the ones who pull the biggest numbers for the UFC. But even in the featherweight, I mean, you've got fucking Volkanovski, Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, Tapora, Arnold Allen, them top 5, Ortega, them top 5 fucking savages. Merab, Sean O'Malley maybe, Sean O'Malley versus Cejudo. There's so many different fights to make. What fights do you want to see? We also only have I think until March to see Mohamed Mokaev win that title to become the youngest ever UFC champion. I don't think it's going to happen, because that would mean he'll need at least 2, if not 3 more fights, including the title challenge. So let me know in the comments what you think, and don't forget, hit subscribe.